what is our first simple permanent tissue means? Parenchyma. What is our first simple tissue? Parenchyma. So, parenchyma is a simple permanent tissue. So, it is already I told, out of 3 simple permanent tissue, what is this? Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. The parenchyma comes under the living cell. So, parenchyma is a living cell. Okay. So, what is the nature of parenchyma? The parenchyma cell have a thin wall, thin cell wall. The shape may be round or oval. What is the shape of the parenchyma? It may be round, oval or maybe polygonal itself. Okay guys? Yes. In this 9th standard, we will see the 2 type of parenchyma. What are all they means? Parenchyma. What is that? Parenchyma. The second one is Sclerenchyma. What is that? Sclerenchyma. Parenchyma found in the aquatic plants. What is that? Parenchyma only found in aquatic plants. Then Sclerenchyma is it found in the land, green plants. Okay now, let us see one by one. What is meant by parenchyma means? See these cells comprise the parenchyma. The parenchyma have a space, the large space. This space is called as intercellular space. What is the name of space? Intercellular space. So, the parenchyma have a large intercellular space. It is found in the aquatic plants. This is the one type. What is the next type means? Sclerenchyma. The word itself indicates it that chlorine. What is that? Chlorine. Chlorine means the presence of chlorophyll. What is that? The parenchyma contains the chlorophyll is called as Sclerenchyma. Okay guys. So, the cells have a chlorophyll means what is the function of the parenchyma? Chlorophyll present means they do the photosynthesis. So, the function of Sclerenchyma is photosynthesis. The next one, some parenchyma store the water. It is store the water. In which plant means? Xerophytic plants. Xerophytic plants is nothing but drought condition plant. The water is insufficient. Plant is called as xerophytic plants. So, parenchyma store the water in xerophytic plants. Okay guys. So, next heading is functions of parenchyma. What is it? Functions of parenchyma. So, 4 functions it do that. First one is store food materials. For example, in potato, each and every cell store the starch. Store the starch. Starch is the reserved food material. So, the parenchyma cells store the food materials. The second one, absorption. It absorbs the water or nutrients. It may be water or it may be nutrients. But the common function is absorption. The third category is buoyancy. Buoyancy is nothing but the buoyancy character is responsible for the floating of plant in hydrophyte. In hydrophyte. What is meant by buoyancy? It is the buoyancy character is responsible for floating the plant on the water. Okay. The fourth one is secretion. The parenchyma cells secrete the certain enzymes. So, it also do the function secretion. Okay guys. So parenchyma completed. Next we will go to the sclerenchyma. Next, what is the next type of tissue? Collenchyma. Collenchyma. So characteristic features of the collenchyma. Okay ma. What is the first characteristic feature? It is a living tissue. So collenchyma is a living tissue. So where they locate? It present below the epidermis. Do you know about the epidermis? Okay, no problem. I will be tell about the layer epidermis. In the anatomy, what is the anatomy? The study of internal structure of an organism. So that branch is called as anatomy. In plant anatomy, we will study the internal structure of root, stem and leaf. In that portion, we study about the foremost layer is called as a epidermis. What does mean by epidermis? The outermost layer of the root, stem, leaf is called as epidermis. Below the epidermis, the collenchyma tissues are present. Where the collenchyma present? Below the epidermis. This is the second character of collenchyma. Third, how they are look like? The cells are elongated. What does mean by elongated? And unevenly thickened cells and non-lignified. So elongated means they have a lengthwise maybe vary. Unevenly thickened cells, the thickening may be uneven. Non-lignified means the cell wall does not contain any deposition. What is meant by non-lignified? The cell wall does not contain any deposition is called non-lignified cells. So what is the nature of cell? It is elongated, unevenly thickening present, non-lignified cells. Okay, what is the shape of the cell? It may be rectangular, oblique or tapering in. The shape is maybe vary from one species to other species. Okay, then next point, persistent protoplast. The stable protoplast is called as persistent protoplast. Persistent protoplast is nothing but the cell contain cytoplasm and protoplasm. It is called as the persistent protoplast. Is it that? Yes. What is the function of the collenchyma means? It provides the strength. Strength is here mean mechanical support. What is the function of collenchyma? It provides the mechanical support to the plant. What is that easy meaning? It provides the strength to the plant. Okay, see the diagram. The cells have a thickening. The cells have a thickening. This thickening is, what is that? Unevenly thickened. So here also having a thickening comes. Okay, I put only the 2 for example, but the whole diagram want to give this type of thickening. So collenchyma is completed. What is the next type of tissue? Sclerenchyma. What is it? Sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma. So what is the characters of sclerenchyma means? It is a thick walled. What is that? The cell wall is thick in nature. Lignified. What does mean by lignified? So lignin. The cell wall contain lignin. Lignin is nothing but it is one type of cell wall material. So the cell wall is made up of lignin. Is called lignified cells. So lignified cells are considered as dead tissue. So sclerenchyma is one of the dead tissue in simple permanent tissue. Okay. So further it is classified into two types. What all they mean? Fiber and scleroid. What is that? Fiber and scleroid. Let us see one by one. Okay. First one is what? Fiber. What is that? Fiber. So fiber is nothing but, see the diagram, the two tapering or pointed end. Fibering contain the pointed end. The walls are lignified. See the blue color? The walls contain lignin. The walls contain lignin. So it is called as lignified. The range, the width or range may be vary from 1 to 3 millimeter is a common. What is that? It is a common 1 to 3 millimeter. But 1 or 2 exceptional cases, it know that. Yes. In that case, the range between 20 millimeter to 550 millimeter. Say example, Cannabis sativa and Corchorus capsularis, the range of fiber may be 20 millimeter to 550 millimeter. Okay, ma'am. This is the one type of sclerenchyma. What is that? Sclerenchyma. What is another type of sclerenchyma? Means scleroid. What is that? Scleroid. Scleroids are broad. What is that? Scleroids are broad. Fibers are narrow. Scleroids are broad. Then the scleroids occur in single or maybe group. See this diagram. The scleroids are, now I draw what is that? Group of scleroids. So scleroids may be single or in the group formation. Okay. Then it is isodiametric. The same symmetry. Isodiametric radial symmetry, like that we studied, is it? No. So scleroids are isodiametric symmetry. The walls are what? Lignified. What is meant by lignified? The cell wall is made up of lignin. The cell wall is made up of lignin. It is called as lignified walls. Pits. Pits is nothing but a small pore-like structure present on the scleroid is called as pits. So pits are prominent. The clearly visible pits are present. The next is lumen. Lumen is nothing but the empty space is called as lumen. The empty space is called as lumen. The lumen is filled with wall materials. The empty space lumen is filled with wall materials. The where the scleroids are present, the scleroids is common in fruits and seeds. So scleroids are found in fruit and seeds. So that's all about the simple permanent tissues. Next we will see the complex tissue. What is that? Complex tissues. Next, what does that topic means? Complex tissue. What is meant by complex is nothing but made of more than one type of cell that work together as a unit. That is called as a complex. So, more than one type of cell is what? It may be parenchyma and sclerenchyma. These two type of cell work together as a unit is called as a complex tissue. In out of three simple tissue, in the complex tissue only parenchyma, sclerenchyma only involved. Collenchyma cells are absent in the complex tissue. The complex tissue is again classified into what? Two types, xylem and phloem. First we will let us see a detail about the xylem. So what is the function of xylem? Do you know any about that? Yes, the xylem conduct the water and mineral nutrients from the root to leaf. So the direction is upward direction. So xylem is again classified into four elements. I think so, is it? Xylem tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. First one is, what is that? Xylem tracheids. So these tracheids are elongated. This is that elongated portions. It look like a tube like portion. It is a dead cell and it is a hard, thick, lignified. Already I told what is meant by lignified. The lignin deposition on the wall is called lignified walls, and it has the tapering or blunt end. The end may be tapering or blunt. Then large lumen. What is meant by lumen? The centermost empty space is called as a lumen. Now I will be seeing the vessels. This space is called as a lumen. That lumen is without any content in the tracheids. So the tracheids is completed. Next, what is the element? Vessels. This is a vessel. Vessel look like a broad. What is that? Broad, or it may be cylindrical. It may be cylindrical or it may be tube-like structure. This also have a lignified walls. The lignin are present on the cell wall. The wide central lumen. Wide means what? The broad central lumen is present. This is also a dead element and do not have a protoplast. So it is a dead, so it is do not have a protoplast. What is meant by protoplast? Cytoplasm, nucleus, or anything is absent in the vessel. And how they are arranged means, it arranged one above the another, because one above another means it is conduct the water very easily. It is also tube-like structure, arranged one above another, and it has a pores. This is a pore. So this condition is called as a perforated. What is that? Perforated means what? The vessels contain pores on the surface. That is called as perforated. So it look like a water pipe. So it easily conduct the water. Then third element is, what is it? Xylem parenchyma. So xylem parenchyma is a living tissue. Thin walled cells are present and it store the food materials and the fats. That's all. The fourth element is what? Xylem fiber. So fiber comes under where? Sclerenchyma. Do you know that? Two type of sclerenchyma, fiber and scleroid. So the sclerenchyma fiber associated with the xylem is called as xylem fiber. So just imagine the fiber diagram in the previous section. Is it that? Elongated, lignified, the walls are made up of lignin, pointed end, and it is the function is it provide the mechanical support to the plant. That's all the xylem. Next element is, what does that means? Phloem. It is another type of complex tissue, phloem. So what is the function of phloem? Xylem conduct the water, that phloem conduct the food materials or nutrients, where from the leaf to remaining parts of the plant. So phloem function is conduct the food material. The phloem comprises the four elements, is it? Sieve element, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, phloem fiber. Remember in the flow chart. Okay. The first one is what? Sieve element. The sieve element contains sieve tube and sieve plate. So sieve tube is nothing but, this is that a sieve tube. It is a tube like structure is called as sieve tube. At the transverse wall, this is a transverse wall means here the pore, small pore like structure, perforated plate. What is that? Perforated plate. This is called as sieve plate. This is called as sieve plate. Let us see one by one. Sieve tube. It is a tube like structure, elongated end to end. It starts from one end and end to end. Next, sieve plate. Where they locate the sieve plate? It is present in the transverse walls at the end of the sieve tube, and it is perforated, means it has a small pores. It conducts the food materials. Companion cell. The third type of phloem element is companion cell. It is also elongated cell, and the companion cell attached to the lateral walls of sieve tube. We already saw the diagram, is it? The tube-like structure. So, companion cells are attached to the sieve tubes. The companion cells are equal in length. All the companion cells are equal in length. Then, how the number of companion cells are produced? Yeah, the companion cells accompany with the sieve tube or mother cell. The sieve tube and mother cell accompany with the companion cell, again divide and divide, forming the number of companion cells. So, the companion cells also involved in the conduction of food materials from the leaf to the remaining parts of the plant. What is the third category of phloem? Phloem parenchyma. So, parenchyma, what is meant by parenchyma? Parenchyma means that is a living means it has cytoplasm, cell organelles, everything, nucleus. Is it? What is the main function of parenchyma? Parenchyma store the food materials. That's all the phloem parenchyma. The last element is what? Phloem fiber. So, fiber comes under the sclerenchymatous cell. So, sclerenchymatous cell associated with the phloem is called as phloem fiber. Is it? Do you remember two type of sclerenchyma? Fiber and scleroid. So, fiber associated with the phloem is called phloem fiber. It is also elongated, lignified. The cell wall has a lignin and tapering end, sharp end. Okay. So, what is the function of phloem parenchyma? Phloem fiber, mechanical support. What is the function of phloem fiber? It gives the mechanical support to the plant.